this side event is going to be the most important thing that happens over the next 3 days. There's a lot going on at this meeting, and we should all be looking forward to lots of new knowledge, lots of exchange of information, and I'm certainly excited about what IFPRI has put together here. So we're here to talk about innovations in capacity strengthening approaches. And during the next 3 days, we are going to be hearing time and again the need for a holistic, multidisciplinary, multisectorial approach to realign agriculture and the food system for the benefit of health and nutrition. We're also going to be hearing that the capacity to do that needs strengthening. And that's why we are gathered here this morning. Because as far as I'm concerned, there is no better place to start that strengthening than with students, with young people, so that in fact they will not only accept our recommendation to break down the silos, the agriculture silo and the nutrition silo and the health silo, break those down, but also have the capacity to deal with the problem solving in a holistic manner. So during the next hour and a half, we will hear 3 presentations and we'll participate in a demonstration. And time is short, so I'm not going to spend any more of the presenters' time. But merely say that each of the first 3 presentations will be given over a 10 to 12 minute period. Yes, I know that is very short. And all our presenters have a lot more to say than what they can pack into 10 to 12 minutes, but we have to be out of here by 10. We'll then have 1 or 2 clarifying questions after each presentation, and we then move to after those 3 presentations, we'll have a demonstration of a social entrepreneurship approach that has been tested in a number of places, and that will take roughly 30 minutes, which should leave about 15 minutes at the end for some general discussion. So far on time management. And I will try to enforce the 10 to 12 minute thing, so please don't get mad at me. You can get even when you're the chair and I'm the speaker at some future time. The first speaker is Purvi Mehta, who's sitting on my left. Purvi is head of the Capacity Strengthening Program at the International Livestock Research Institute. And she's going to talk to us about challenges and approaches for strengthening capacities to link agriculture, nutrition, and health. Purvi, you have the floor.
Thank you, Pierre.
And if you would like to move down so you can see the PowerPoints, I will stay here and feel lonely, but that's okay.
Thank you very much, Pierre. It's great to be home in India, and thank you so much, and congratulations to IFPRI for bringing a pool of expertise from these 3 sectors of agriculture, nutrition, and health. I'd like to start my 12 minutes with a small story that most of you would know, a story of an elephant that landed in a land where nobody had seen an elephant before. People who looked at it from the back thought it was a rope. People who looked at it from the other side thought it was a fan, and so forth. The reason everybody were not linked, and they were all looking at the same object in different ways, and they had their own ways of interpreting it. This is pretty much the story with these 3 sectors that we are talking about: agriculture, nutrition, and health. You know, we are not able to look at this in a holistic way. We are all, as Pierre said, in our own silos in terms of these 3 sectors. And the challenge here is, or the need here is, to establish linkages between these 3 sectors and the stakeholders working on it, so, and build their capacities so they can have a holistic look at this whole object. capacity strengthening, as it is known, is a very important impact pathway in linking these three sectors together and making sure that these three sectors and stakeholders work together. As the first speaker, Suresh asked me to give a broad overview of some of the components of whose capacities we are talking about, and what are the key challenges in building such capacity development programs, and what are the key approaches for doing that. If you look at the various dimensions of capacity development, a piecemeal approach will not work. We keep using the word holistic, and the capacity development efforts or strategies has to be at every level, at individual level, spanning researchers, the whole dissemination channel, the middleman or the extension people, and the end user, at policy level and at organizational level. At policy level, again, not only just policy makers at regional and national level, but policy implementers at the grassroots level as well. And all this capacity to basically to be able to generate knowledge, to disseminate knowledge effectively, for capacities for the end user to be able to understand what we are trying to give them and adopt it and get benefited out of that. And of course, in such a transdisciplinary area, what is very important is capacity to actually work together, think alike, and establish those kind of linkages among the stakeholders. Somebody in the morning was just mentioning that, this is nothing new. We have been talking about this from time immemorial, that these three sectors needs to be linked. But the fact is that, we do not have many success stories of linking these three sectors. What are the key challenges in trying to build such capacities or linking these three sectors? Number one, of course, is, it has been a sectorial approach and more like a horse blind, so to say, approach. And what it really needs is a paradigm shift. Paradigm shift at the level of different stakeholders that we spoke about. There is very limited capacity. Let's face it, limited capacity at every level, be it at faculty level or be it at policy level. Limited understanding and capacity to build such capacity development programs. Limited case studies. It's interesting. Last month I was making a presentation in Indonesia on bringing the stakeholders together, and one person said, linking up all these stakeholders and having all the departments work together looks very good on PowerPoint, but does it ever come out of PowerPoints? Yeah, do we have real concrete case studies where such linkages have worked? We have very limited case studies to build upon, but at the same time, we do have some, and these needs to be documented, and the lessons drawn out of that really needs to be learned. So I'm glad we have this session, and we are going to have some experience sharing in this. Impact assessment. Having said that capacity development is an important impact, impact pathways, yeah? Measuring the impact that capacity development efforts created has always been a big challenge. So these are some of the key challenges on building such kind of capacity strengthening. There can't be, this is capacity development is a process. And for every region, for every stakeholder, the process has to change. And therefore, there can't be a handful of principles, so to say, that can guide this kind of a process. But if we look at some of the key approaches, and these are some of the key approaches we have built into the consortium research program, CRP4, in trying to make the framework for the capacity development as well. Some of the key approaches for such multi-sectoral and multi-stakeholder capacity strengthening programs can be, one, it has to be constantly evolving and constantly, tailored according to the need and according to the stakeholder within the region, within the country, and sometimes within the country also among the states and so forth. Capacity development is not just doing training programs or so forth. So it goes beyond individual capacity building. It goes at the systemic level, bringing in that systemic cognizance and the institutional architecture. And all this happens with a process of co-learning, and in a two-way arrow, where of course it's important to take the messages from lab to land, but it is also important, equally important, to bring the messages or the lessons learned from the land to lab. So this kind of a co-learning process, and building on existing capacities rather than creating new capacities. There is already a lot of existing capacities at every regional level. Building on that, strengthening on that, and leveraging upon that would be an important approach. I'd like to quickly only mention some of the ongoing initiatives we have at ILRI right now. I'll just mention them because we don't have much time to go into detail. The reason I chose to mention these projects are because they are multidisciplinary, multi-sectorial programs going on in multiple countries, and where capacity development is at the core. If we have more questions or so, I have several colleagues of mine from ILRI, and we would be happy to discuss this further. There is a program or a network called the Participatory Epidemiology Network for Animal and Public Health. This is again linking up of the various sectors, and this is done by 7 key partners, where ILRI is the implementing partner. And this basically works with various national veterinary and public health system in building capacities in different countries. The Biosciences Eastern and Central Africa, an ILRI initiative that we are very proud of. Again, this is a unique platform or a facility where multiple stakeholders from different disciplines come and work together. This includes a large number of CG centers, NARS, NGOs, international organizations, and so forth. And again, capacity development is at the crux of this. The Stone Mountain Global Capacity Development Group that has recently been set up with 11 members. Again, it is meant to map the existing capacities in the field of One Health in various countries, and then sort of document some of the experiences from different institutions on capacity development for One Health. University of Minnesota and us, ILRI, we are leading this group. The last project that I'd like to mention here is an IDRC supported project, which is in Southeast Asia. It runs in 6 countries. Again, the whole idea here, and we already have some good success stories where we bring various stakeholders together and have them work together and take collective action. As part of that, we are also setting up 2 regional knowledge resource centers, one in Gajah Mada in Indonesia and one in Chiang Mai in Thailand. All these projects are concentrated on developing capacity strengthening by working with the local or regional expertise, building on what is existing at the local level and in a process of co-learning. So at the end, I'd like to finish my elephant story and say that capacity development and collective action in building capacity development can be a very important investment in trying to link these 3 sectors and together recognizing the elephant as a whole and perhaps riding it as well. Thank you very much.